Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another RC Conspiracies. We're going to get things kicked off here in just a minute. If you're joining us later or tomorrow when it's not live, I'll put a little time code down in the description, sometimes in the title, but it'll tell you right where the video starts, so you don't have to wait through all this beginning. You can jump right to it. It's a clickable link, take you right to the beginning. So hang tight, and we will be with you in just a moment, guys. Going to get a few things set up here on the back end and get this party ready to start.
Shady silhouetted images and industry teasers are finding their way into our homes and invading our minds. Their calculated information is delivered to feed our addiction for radio-controlled frequencies. It's an RC conspiracy, but we are on your side, cracking the RC code, because the truth is out there. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast. Get your decoder rings ready and put on those tinfoil hats, because your fearless leader is here. Please welcome your host, the lead RC conspiracist, Tony CC. Tony CC. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast.
Hey, what is going on, guys? What an awesome day today is, and what an awesome week it's been. There's just been, I don't know, it's been crazy. I had a little bit of a rough night last night, you guys know. We'll show you in just a second. I don't know if I'm getting audio or not. You're supposed to get audio from your computer to the to StreamYard, but I'm not sure that I'm getting it. So we'll see. I smashed my camera, so there was that. And but you know, all in all, it was a great night. You know, $1,500 camera gets trashed by a $600 car. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about the ARRMA speed lineup, the speed bashers, mainly the felony, because that's the new kid on the block. The infraction version 2 does have some niceties to it. And a bunch of you guys are already here in the chat. Thank you for that. Richie has mentioned one thing that I will agree with. There does seem to be a little bit of a slight delay still on the throttle at times where I'm guessing we got to program that out again with the punch settings through the ESC. But we'll have to take a look at that, because I did notice it, that especially hard stop, just punch it, you know, full throttle. There's kind of a little bit of a delay before it hit, or when you hit the brake, you know, and you spin it off of something and then you want to go forward again. There's kind of this delay before it actually goes. But that is not saying that this thing is not one of the most awesome RCs for road that I've ever driven. I am blown away by it. And big fan of the of how it handles. I think is the main thing. It just handles so well, and so I really dig it. And we'll get to you guys in the chat here in a second. And it's cool to see so many familiar faces. John Donovan is in here. It's been a while, my man. JMRC. So these things, some of the hobby shops are getting them in. I'd pre-ordered mine to try and get it in early, and so I'd ordered this one direct from Horizon. I am kind of looking at the infraction though at my my Hobbytown. It's looking pretty slick, and I really want to see that blue in person. And they were posting pictures, and I'm like, oh man, this could be this could be bad. I've kind of got the camera in a weird spot because it's a different camera, and the setup that I have, somebody else ended up with the C-stand arm that I usually use that gets it in a little closer and lower. And so I feel like I'm brimming this thing a lot, but yeah, it'll be all right. So I had to order another C-stand arm for in here. But yeah, last week was crazy. Got to go to the White House, did an interview. I didn't do the interview, but I was part of a film crew there. Very interesting experience, from getting the COVID testing, like the rapid COVID testing, to we were, and all of that was taking place just behind like the press room where they do all the interviews with the press secretary and stuff like that. Just a cool experience overall to be able to go and do that, and to go to the White House. Kind of a really cool thing that you think about, and dream about as a kid. And it's like this big deal thing, and getting to do it. It's like, wow, that was cool. Pretty cool. So now I've got a lot of catch up to play here in the comments. I do have a Haas on order. I can't wait. I did see some videos of that running. JT has one. Greg Vogel has one over at RC Driver. Man, he put that thing through its paces. Flash Hobby saying, yeah, he noticed the delay as well. Let's talk about that a little bit later. See what we can figure out with that. I've got mine up over here on the bench. Maybe a walk over there a little bit later. Hey, look at my my Hobbytown is in the house. Hobbytown, Virginia. They're waving or clapping or something. In fact, there was somebody else that went there to check out the Felony at the store, but they'd already sold the floor model once they became available for sale. And he said he was trying to think of where to run it, and his idea was also the same place I took it to run, which is Grassfield High School. Big open lot there, fun stuff. I thought, the second I got this car, I knew where I was taking it. I'd taken some other cars there to do some speed runs. It's a little bit of a drive for me, but it was worth it for this video. I was going to try and do the whole camera thing, get some nice shots, do it up nice, really cool car. I thought, Kitris is killing it. And I'm like, man, I got to play catch up to that guy. That guy is like coolest videos ever. I need to step up my game again. I can do that. I haven't been. And so I took my camera and well, you know what? I got it. I got the video. You guys that haven't seen it yet, I don't know if we'll get audio. I could try and redo the audio for you here. It went a little something a little something like this. Oh no. Scratch. Bend. Oh no. Big old cracked up, broken out corner, chunked out of the yeah, that was that. So that was kind of the sound effects in case they didn't play it for you guys. But it was pretty bad. I just had that camera filming at the White House last week, and today I put it on the ground. So it got several different types of filming, from the really cush stuff last week to like getting pummeled this week. All right, so let's hit the comments. Lots of you guys are in here. I want to know what you guys think of this. Tell me like your favorite feature, if you have one. What's the thing that intrigues you the most about it if you don't have one? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you my experience again, because I had one of the first infractions and I loved it. Like out of the box, I did the figure 8 with it. I did, street bashing at some industrial abandoned building and by the airport there in Illinois, and then I brought it to the oval track. Well, the street bash only lasted about 5 minutes because it overheated. I thought the battery was dead. Who knew? I could have just let it cool down and kept running, but I retreated back to my hotel room at that point, thinking my batteries were dead. And yeah, so same thing happened at the oval, except Buddy ran it. He was a little more conservative, and he got longer runtime. And then I put it out there, and I was full throttle the whole way trying to drift it in short runtime. But this one, I did not have that problem with the overheating. It never cut off on me. And so that was awesome. We ran it a long time. We had the Venom 3S 10,500 milliamp hour 50C packs in there. So, we were set for a good probably 30 minutes if we needed it for what we were doing. So, but yeah, so now I'm going to get over to the comments here. Actually, let's go ahead and before we do that, let's do the other gratuitous plugs here for a second. If you guys haven't seen it, we do have another podcast, the While My Batteries Charge RC podcast. And on there, I just kind of talk some of the stuff behind the scenes, a little bit more in depth about things that I might not talk about or what's coming up, what's going on. And that's a good place to do it. Sometimes it's news stuff. Sometimes we have interviews. Need to get a few more of those lined up. It's been a little tough. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then the other thing is you can see all the stuff we've been doing recently. We had the retros out, busted a bunch of those. So I will be at Hobbytown buying some Clodbuster parts this week at some point. And yeah, there was some carnage. We'll just say that. But if you go to the store tab in the middle, people were asking me about my shirt I was wearing the other day. Oh, no. Well, it doesn't show up here. These are the featured items. I did not feature it. Okay, so I will have to feature it, but if you go to my store through one of these links, I think, you can get the RC bashing is not a crime. Click on the CCxRC products link here, and that should take us to, yeah, here they are. RC bashing is not a crime. This is the shirt that I was wearing yesterday. And then on the back, it has the logo up between the shoulder blades. So for those that were asking, that were interested, you can pick those up there. $17.99 for a classic tee. Not trying to make money on these things, really. So just trying to get them in people's hands that want to wear them. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff on here if you're interested. And now back to the regular program. Let's talk to you guys. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to scroll through these quickly. If I didn't get one to your questions or whatever, before I start talking about everything that I like about it, post them in the comments again. First things I'm seeing, big long one here is Driftomaniac saying big improvement over the infraction, straight line drag, just crazy. I hear you on that one. Off the line, just straight line, gun it and go. These things are awesome. I was doing speed tests today behind where my kids do their music lessons, and it's not a big area, and there's a very narrow area that you've got to shoot through at the end, and slamming on the brakes, everything. It's like, and just straight line braking even. It was so awesome. The control's amazing. But he says, yeah, but slight delay on the throttle. Wasn't expecting that. I think that might have something to do with the punch settings. And so I need to go through that because I noticed it in another car, and I feel like adjusting the punch kind of helped with that initial throttle. Darwin says, hey, I keep checking out all the felony vids, and I'm going to have to get my hands on one. Yeah, they're epic. The orange ones are awesome. The black one, I haven't seen in person yet, but it looks awesome in the videos that I've been seeing. And so I would love to see one in person. Deep fried RCs is supposed to be asleep. I hear that, man. Wow, Jordan checking in from Afghanistan. That's awesome, dude. Deep fried says he's got to sleep. Shen RC is in the house. RC basement. Kurtz RC's Shen RC is wondering if it could be the radio system. These DX3s are pretty quick, and it's got that really high end spectrum. It could maybe be the AVC and trying to help if you've got the AVC turned up. It could be that as well. I don't know. It could be the AVC as well, trying to keep you from pulling full throttle to go and kind of managing that speed so it doesn't bust out. Because if you do turn the AVC down, man, it's all over the place. It'll slide a lot. Because I was doing that when I needed it to break free, which is what happened when I hit the camera. I was not trying to come fast at that corner. I was trying to drift that rear end around the corner there and did not have luck with that, as was evidenced in the video. Nobody's Fast RC says, saw your video of the felony. It was awesome. Those slow-mo shots were epic. We went there with the intention to do a whole bunch of slow-mo with that GH5. That camera is really good because it'll shoot 4K 60, but you can also go in then and you can do variable frame rate and you can get it up to like 120 frames per second. So it's really cool. JMRC says the local hobby shop broke their Haas. I saw Mark Santa Maria broke his too, but he was sending it so high off of those skate parks ramps. It was crazy. RC King, think I'm going to get the Axial Gravedigger kit? I think you should. They're awesome. Few upgrades, and that thing is just some of the most fun. You're getting a big rock? Question mark, Cody. I don't know if you're talking to me, but I have one on order. Yeah. Chainsaw just got home from a 12-hour workday. Ugh, man, put your legs up. Chris Watson, the big thing is finding places to run the felony or infractions. I don't need a lot of space because I'm not usually trying to go full bore with it. I'm happy just drifting it around me, you know, in circles. Even I was doing a little bit at the speed run today. I'll just go out in the street, but we don't have a super busy street, so I'm lucky there. And we're in a cul-de-sac, and so as long as there's no cars parked out in it, because it does throw rocks like nobody's business. I couldn't believe some of those hobby shops that were doing like first run videos and they were drifting it all around in their parking lot. And I'm just thinking, man, I know that thing throws rocks. It throws the rocks. Somebody's going to be getting it hurt. JTRC's in the house, says he hasn't run his. It just looks too good. I can get that. Mine doesn't look well. From here it looks okay. It doesn't have a front splitter anymore. Don't know where that went. There's some crumpled spots in that front air dam, and the bottom is scraped up like you wouldn't believe it. So, yeah. RC King says he has the first Clodbuster they made. That is awesome, man. That's super awesome. The right says your shirt was perfect for the felony. I know, right? It was so perfect. People may or may not have noticed that I planned that. In both of my felony videos, I wore that shirt. That it's not a crime. RC bashing is not a crime. I should redo one that says street bashing is not a crime for when I wear that shirt. If I got a road car, the ARRMA Street Bashers are top of the list, Cody says. Yeah. RC Basement says, channels rockin', Tony. Thank you, man. The Tank, yes, can you show us all your race cars? Is this a race car you're wanting to see? We can take a look at it in a minute. I've got it all set up to go and look at it. I just want to look at it. Pilot Ryan says he's getting the black one tomorrow. A-Main crashed theirs. That was that was an epic moment in their video, right? So like hit the pause, and he's like, "That was bad." It was just great. I mean, it was awful. It was like when I hit my camera, there's that cringe factor involved, but the way he played it was great. My brakes weren't bad, but he also said that it could have been the ash that they had on the ground. And we had a lot. I mean, mine stuck the brakes, man. It just skids. I mean, it locks them up. So you have to tap it if you don't want to do full. Yeah, it's hard. Pilot Ryan says his Outcast felt laggy until he calibrated the throttle. And I should point out, you guys, that Spectrum finally just released some videos on how to program these things, how to use these controllers to actually set, and when you bind your radio to your receiver, how to do it, and that your car needs to be level, and all these things that you're supposed to do with the AVC that some people may not think about. But one of them is about setting the endpoints of your steering, your throttle, and all that for your actual receiver as well. And then with the car itself. Well, all the comments just jumped. Chris Watson says, make sure to set the throttle EPA out of the box. Yeah, the right says once that handbrake comes, you won't have that any issue anymore. So what I did is when I ordered the car, this happened last time I bought the infraction, is tires were scarce for a long time and everybody was burning them up. And so we were using, what's the other company? GPR. Well, anyway, we were using other tires that were available for street, but it's not that easy with the Felony because of the rear wheels, unless you want to change out the gearing in the rear diff or the front diff to match. But I mean, change the rear diff. But yeah, so you want to have matching gears between the front and the rear if you're going to have matching tire sizes. So it makes it a little bit more complicated. So right away, I ordered 2 sets of tires for the rear, 2 for the front, and I ordered the handbrake module. And there's no pictures or descriptions, so I'm hoping that the handbrake module is everything you need except for the servo to install it. So they sell a whole bunch of other little parts in there as well, like the calipers and the brake pads and all that. I hope it's not just the casing, and then you have to buy all that separate. I'm pretty sure it's a solid thing. So awesome. RC New Hampshire says a little contribution for the camera repair. Great bids. Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm going to be sending that in. I don't know when. I've got a couple of special videos coming up that I need it for, and it still works. You just might cut yourself on it. I keep looking over here because it's over here. It's the one that's set up on this shot right now. But it's a little dangerous, and it's not fun to look at. But I have nice monitors that go with it, and all the film stuff I can put with it for the shoot. But I might actually have to buy a second one, which sucks, in order to send that one away, because it could be a while that it's gone. And like I said, there's a couple of
warning, alien approaching. Warning, biophysical experiments extremely dangerous to Earth people.
So it's one of the coolest cars that you're going to ever see. And so don't tell anybody that I just told you about it. But yeah, it's coming. Yeah, Ace is on the go, so he's got to get one for the collection. That's right. This is a funny one from the tank. Get a shirt with "I got an infraction that involved a felony." They need to have a little baby infraction felony. Something a little smaller. Be cool. So here's something. Drifto says he took it straight out of the store, put a battery in it, ran it up the street. I'll balance everything out tonight. Not a huge hesitation, but a bit. Hit 59 in the parking lot, though. That is crazy. That is their bash gearing. That is when you just take it out, rip it, do donuts, just have fun. But you know what? It also will go 60 miles an hour. That's insane. And it doesn't overheat because I was street bashing it and we were ripping it. We were donuts. We were jumping it back and forth. Going around figure eights around light poles, all this stuff out there. And it was awesome. And it didn't overheat. It was warm. It was warm at the end, but we were out there. We were out filming for an hour. So I probably ran the car in really hard 5-minute segments. And then we'd move where we were. It was actually easier to film once we got rid of the big camera and did it all on the GoPro. The only shots that we ended up using with that camera, because after I hit it, I put it away, was the shots of the car parked there on the sidewalk for those cool little like shots at the beginning with the, it's all we used. Damaged it for that. I had plans for like, zoom ins coming down, and we ended up just doing the GoPro and the iPhone for everything. JT says 10 more. Chris Watson as well. You guys are awesome. Awesome. Camera funds going up. That's so cool. JMRC says, I'm going to bring mine to the dirt oval. So the local guy that owns the oval track in his backyard here says that mine is going to be covered in dirt. The front of mine is going to be covered in dirt. Basically, when he sees it, it's going to be covered in dirt because I'm going to be behind him at his track. So, yeah. Drifto, I saw, who was it? RC Guy Garage hit 63 miles per hour with it out of the box. That's crazy too. And I'm sure there's little variances as well with our speedometers to a degree. I hit 61 today, which we'll have a spoiler alert, a video on that later tonight. So Chris is saying the endpoints might help with that hesitation, although Spectrum says they're set pretty well out of the box. How's it going, James? David Ferguson? Cody Vanderberg, do you think the Street Basher lineup will expand to a smaller 3S version? I don't know. Viterra's kind of, gone to bed. We haven't heard anything from them in a while. We kind of were hinted that, the crawlers are a thing of the past, and I don't know who's going to pick up the on-road, if anybody else is, if they think there's a need for it. I mean, these are actually a fun size to run on road. The small ones are just so whippy in a way, and just whippy. Is that a good word for it? It's probably not a very. They dart so fast. Their control is, like a hyperactive 10-year-old kid that just finished all his Halloween candy the first night. Drifto says he's on it. He's going to check and see if he can get it. But I don't know, Cody. Will they have a 3S lineup? It'd be cool if they did. But it'd have to be tough. They'd have to not do the plastic chassis probably, because your impacts are now going to be curbs a lot of time, and they're going to be low. They're not going to pop over them like a monster truck might. So, yeah. Blue Dooley asked, did I see the ExoCaged RC videos on the RC four-wheel drive monster truck? I did, and it was disappointing how much had to be changed already for the amount that it comes out of the box. That's all. It looks good though, but the locked front and rear axles, the diffs, that's no bueno for control. If you're trying to do some freestyle stuff, but I don't know. It's such a thin carbon fiber chassis. I don't know that I'm trying to freestyle with that. It's supposed to, I guess, be geared towards racing. I don't know if it was or not. But it had a lot of the racing upgrade style stuff. He swapped out, I think, the transmission as well to do single speed. If it wasn't him, it was Gavin that did. So there's, it needed a lot of changes. RC Basement says, as usual, no stock in the UK. Will grab one as soon as I can. I heard that the Haas supply, that there were so many orders for it that there was more than the first shipment. So I don't know if those pre-orders are going to have a wait or not, but I have one on pre-order. I'm super excited about. Driftomaniacs, warning.
Warning! Alien approaching!
And he's saying, do not run it without the splitter. The air will get under it and lift it over. You have been warned. Yeah, I did it today and I got 61 without the splitter in the front. And it actually handled really good, except I did hit a divot and I sent it airborne, like jumping airborne, which is awesome. I can't wait to see it in slow motion, that bad boy out. Because I was pegging it and hit it and skipped. So, but my plan for it is, everybody's gonna try and soup theirs up probably and go fast with it. And I don't know if it'll be this one. Maybe I'll turn this one into a drag car because of the rear tires. But one of them I want to just street bash like I did in the video. Jumping on curbs, jumping off of sidewalks. I want to find like a stairway to jump down. Like stairs. Just kind of just send it off and let it land down on the cement below. So that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. I literally want to street bash it. And so that's the kind of stuff you'll see me doing with it. And so 61 miles an hour is plenty for most things I'm going to throw at it. My main thing is trying to keep the temps down with it and have it do burnouts and drifts. So it feels pretty good at the 16 tooth. I could probably take it down a tooth even. David Pig says you're spot on with the recommendation on the KV for the SMT10. 5700 KV is the sweet spot on 2S. It sure is. You can gear it up 2S. It gives you some good speed. So Chris is saying that Driftos, yeah, always set the EPA. Whoa, everything just jumped. Yeah, the first batch of felonies is sold out worldwide. Everybody wants their hands on one. Earl Moorhead, what's going on? Earl Moorhead's got his hands on one. The rear spoiler. Okay, here we go. Drifto says the rear spoiler is 2 inches wider than the infraction one. I would guess that, yeah, with the way that they're covering the tires, which have a wider offset. I can see that. I didn't think I was going to like the spoiler, but I like it now. I don't know if I'd like it. They took it off the one for A-Main, and I didn't like it as much. I thought that I wanted the choice to put it on or not, but now seeing it with it on, I would put it on. So thank you for making the decision for me, ARRMA. You saved me a lot of grief trying to decide whether or not I would put holes in the body to put it on. All right. So Drifto says, JT's telling him he doesn't want to get it dirty. RC Showoff says, I have the Vitera V100 Corvette and it's all over the place. I blame the friction shocks. That would be a good start with blaming. Earl Moorhead says that the Traxxas Haas is going to be here Wednesday. Went out today. Nice. Wait, Wednesday? Tomorrow, Wednesday? Did you order it direct and they're shipping it to you, or is it going to be at your hobby shop? Oh, I want to know. The comments just jump on me. Drive me crazy. Kaiser Test RC, what's going on? He says, how do you guys like the glasses? That's a new thing. I don't know if you noticed. That's the other thing that happened this week. I got old. So I'm supposed to wear them to make my eyes be not so tired. They say I have like better than 20/20, but I need it for like the halos and when I'm looking at screens or when I'm driving at night with the lights. So it's really for when I'm looking at computers and when I'm driving. But he asks, nice first bash of the Felony. What editing software are you using? I'm using Final Cut Pro. It used to be Final Cut X, and I swear by it. I love it. There was a lot of haters back when it first came out. It was very flawed when it first came out, and I will give them that. But it's the fastest editing I've ever done is now that I've switched to this, and I've been using it now for years, but I moved back to Adobe for years and I got the workflow down, and it's still just not as fast as Final Cut X. It's not as robust as Premiere, but removing some of that stuff and that heavy load, everything edits, the export, I can be editing while the footage is still importing. It's really, really cool. And I had gone to NAB and I'd done some classes on it. And it was after I did the classes that I was like, okay, this is game changing. And up until then, I was still just kind of mediocre with speed. But once I realized what it can do and what it can do that you could never do before with editing, that's when I realized the potential it had. And for cranking out the dailies. So when I left my job 2 years ago, this Kaiser's kind of got me on a rabbit trail here. But when I left my job 2 years ago, to kind of reassess life, to help homeschool one of my sons, and then do freelance. And I bought a PC, and I was getting into, that's all I could use was Premiere. And I couldn't keep up with YouTube anymore. It's just not fast enough to do what I wanted to do in the amount of time that I wanted to give it to do daily, or, you know, shoot and edit the same day. And you can do it with this because it's importing. You're working, you know, have to import everything to a folder, then create a project, drag all the stuff in. It's like, it's coming in, you're working on it. Sometimes I'm actually exporting it before all the footage is even imported. It's crazy. So anyway, yes, that's what I use. Had to get a MacBook because I just couldn't do it. Drifto's got his twin engine. Yes, I saw that. Your twin 8S. That's got to be a lot of fan power. Speaking of fans, I got some of these Game Changer fans in, and these things are wicked. So Game Changer RC on eBay has these. Earl Moorhead, you've seen him on his speed builds. These things throw so much power and wind, just move the air so much that, yeah, compared to what came in my Max, those things are wicked. Basher Boy is in the house. Yeah, the V2 and fractions are sold out. You can still get them in your hobby shops if they have them in stock still. So they're going to be tough to get your hands on. All of this stuff is going to be hard to get your hands on because they're such a cool and amazing product. Version 1 was awesome. People were doing crazy stuff with it. Earl Moorhead's doing crazy stuff with it. Driftomaniac is doing crazy stuff with it. I traded mine to make my 5T go faster with a pipe that he wouldn't sell, but he would trade for. And I thought I'd buy another one. Couldn't do it. So this is the first I've been able to do it. So yeah. Hobbytown says Traxxas Haas trucks shipped out to local shops today. Yeah, that's awesome news. Thursday and Friday. Sweet. I will have to make time in my day those days. I've also got to get a double crown put in. It's been a summer. I'll just say that. It's been a summer up in here. We've had quite a bit going on. NorCal Hobbies have Felony and Infraction V2 in stock. If you're fast, guys, get them local. I really want to get that blue Infraction. I might have to make a drive tomorrow. Chris Watson, my Clark Kent glasses. I used to have like Superman hair on accident. I dyed it a bunch of colors. I was in a punk band, and it was always different. I was always doing something different with it, bleaching it, doing whatever, bleaching parts of it. And but I was in a choir that I had to have normalish hair for like a big concert, and I had to dye it, and I dyed it black. Well, that black had like a blue sheen when the lights would hit it, so you'd get that blue highlight like in the comic books. It was pretty hilarious. Pretty hilarious. But yeah, NorCal Hobby says he's got some. Driftomaniac says, what PC would you recommend for video editing people? I'm using a Mac, but it's just getting way too slow. I would just get a faster Mac. That's what I would honestly do. You can get really great PCs for half the price, which is why I did it. But the editing software, you'll be in Premiere and you got to pay for it like monthly. You could get Vegas. You could do some of the other stuff. It's just not as fast. And that's the other cool thing. Final Cut Studio, I paid one time for 8 years ago. Final Cut X came out 9 years ago. Maybe longer. Oh, I don't even know now. A long time ago. And that's the only time I've ever paid for it. And I've put it on every Mac I've had. I've had it on 3 Macs at a time because it has my account on it. I've paid one time. All the upgrades are free. I'm not paying no monthly junk like I was doing with Adobe. So, side note. So that in itself probably paid for the extra cost of the Mac computer for me. And I never have all the glitchy issues of what do you guys get? Viruses, computer COVID stuff, kills your computers, slows them down. But yeah. Good servo for the Creighton EXB6S. I got, well, I'm going to be sticking in a Reefs Raw 500 I picked up at Hobbytown. Stealing it out of another car. But it's all about what you're comfortable with. All right. Kaiser's giving some advice on the computer stuff. I don't even know anymore. I get all Intel, and I just bought some more PCs. I still have my nice video editing PC, but I don't use it. All right. Yeah. 3.0 ST guy says my power optional in Tracky Racing summer. Yeah, Tracky Racing, Super Jeep repair, also HVAC issues, septic system being put in, double crown having to go in. What else? I mean, it's been nonstop. Nonstop. But still have my health. So that's, well, I had a pretty good flare up of gout also a week ago. But yeah, it was crazy. Kaiser says punk band, sweet. What instrument do you play? I played guitar and sang. I did rhythm. We had a really boss guitar player. Yeah. One time I had to switch over to bass at some point. I learned to play bass when I broke my collarbone racing BMX. And I couldn't hold the chords down for a while, so I just switched to bass. All right, so I think we caught up. I want to jump over there. We'll talk about the car a little bit more, and yeah, we'll go from there. Let's go look at the car. Let's look at it. Also, I've been hearing some and seeing some updates on my low C5, or not my low C5, my low C solid axle Bari build that's being worked on. I'm about to go headphone list, so it's going to change. The audio is going to change a bit. It's going to be a little bit more ceiling vanish, and I don't know what it's going to be like, but I'm going to be ditching my headphones, so I hope that it sounds all right as we step over there. Would you look at it? Just look at it. I got the comments here still through my iPad, so we'll be good. I opted to keep mine stock body configuration. I didn't do anything. Somebody asked if the body felt flimsy, and I would say no, it doesn't. There's a caveat to that. This bottom section here feels a little bit flimsy because it's not attached to anything up in the front section here. So this does add to a flimsiness feel, but the plastic itself is actually pretty thick, especially on this bottom, and as well as the body. And I mean, I skidded it on its lid. It probably wished it got a different owner. It's still, and someone thought that maybe this would help keep some of the dirt and stuff out and rocks. And it did a pretty good job of keeping a lot of the rocks out, but it's still, the tire burn off was in here like crazy. So, well, not like crazy. It's definitely in here, and it's still in here, even though I've gone and I hit it with my air compressor. So the ESC, though, overall, compared to the last one with it not overheating, was awesome. I think this cat pack and all that really helped with power management. Like I said, it did get warm, but the amount of power that this thing was pushing on a 16 tooth was insane. So yeah, 61 miles per hour. When it was blitzing by me last night, I was like, holy cow. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be going that fast in the setup bash mode. So pretty intense. But you can see, if you look at the bottom of mine, how scraped up the bottom of mine is. But I can only blame myself for that. In fact, I can come over here and show you guys a couple close-ups. And then we can jump to some more comments. It's tough because the way I've got it set up now, the lights. I need to get one more light in here, I think. You see, I've crumpled this right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's definitely bent in here from some of the impacts, all of this. And this is a little bit flimsy, especially without the splitter underneath it that it's screwed into. It does get a little bit flimsier. So, but other than that, everything's pretty clean in here. Tire wear is kind of what you would expect. The insides here, you can tell which way I tend to do my burnouts, because the left side, front and rear, versus the right, you can still see the tread here. This is completely bald. But, I mean, overall, I gave it a good thrashing, and it held up to it. Better than my camera did. They give you plenty of battery strap, which is awesome. The fan is an odd size, and so that may be something that you want to order another one of. Or I guess you could just get a whole new heatsink system for it if you want. It's so clean with this one on here. It feels like perfectly mounted for it, but you know, whatever. It's all up to what you guys want. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Do you recommend Savox servos? Just got my Felony. What servos are recommended under $100? I use Ecotech servos. I use High-Tech servos. High-Tech, we don't hear that name very often anymore, but they make some decent servos you can get that are budget friendly and work well. But yeah, Savox. The only thing with Savox is they tend to be really noisy. If they have any amount of pressure on them that they don't like, it just whines at you, and it just gets annoying when it's just sitting there making noise. But yeah, but Ego Power, and they've all got different varying levels by brand. Whether, you know, they've got titanium gears, all metal gears, the speed of them. And, you know, this is a bigger car, and you're running at some speed. So you want to have a decent servo that's going to have some strength just to keep the tires straight and keep you going in a straight line, I think. Innovative RC says he loves the look of the Felony. So I ordered another air splitter. It is a different model number, and I don't know what's different, if it'll fit the same as the previous one. But I think it might be different because it mounts to this. There's screw holes that you are able to then mount the front air dam to. But there's also a bumper on the underside of this, which I didn't actually recognize or notice before, that there is that padded bumper tucked in there underneath the air dam, which is pretty cool. There is some foam that's also helping add some rigidity to this piece of Lexan here. GMRC says scratches means it's loved. Tank RC saying hello to people. Michael Honeycheck says be destroyed in no time here. Stupid gravel on pavement type road. Yeah, the place where I was running, I was kind of saying that this didn't do donuts as well as the infraction did for me. And I remember the infraction tended to do donuts better one direction than the other. I don't remember which way now. But I think that the real problem was the surface there were so many stones in this type of asphalt, and it's really weathered, so it's really bumpy. I think that it was just catching at times and breaking that donut. Because I had it doing better donuts today when I was doing the speed test, and it was just drifting so much smoother and better, I think, than it was at the high school, which was good to see. It was really good to see. So now I'm looking for a newer place that's a little bit smoother, that has maybe like a loading dock. That's what I really want. I want to come out of like a warehouse and just like launch it off their loading dock. It'd be even cooler if it like launched off the loading dock onto a truck bed, like a flat truck, and then off of that. That would be super epic. But you know, just kind of clear a gap, just land and then drop off of that. But I don't know if I can arrange that or not. RC Basher Boy. Did I get some kind of felony while driving the Felony? No, but I did wonder if I was going to have the police come out or not when I was driving it. You never know, when you're on. They say no skateboarding, no biking, certain things like that. I'm like, they probably mean RC as well, but it doesn't say it specifically. So I went for it. General Hobby says, I never seen anyone using a blower to blow off concrete. I do that in my cul-de-sac. I'll blow off the the concrete there before I take certain things out. The other thing was that these side vents, at one point I had a stick stuck into the side of it, just wedged in there. It was actually a pain in the butt to try and get out. So the paint is all chipped off here on this rear piece as well as on, it does rub. There's body rub. So when this thing's really leaning, when you're doing some of those burnouts and all that, more if you're doing donuts and you get a lean to it, it does eat away at the body here. And I have that on both sides and in the back corners. So like some of these corner pieces here, there's some rub. And that may be rubbing against the plastic or something. I don't know. No, it's rubbing against the tire. So you get some, but you know what? It's meant to be driven. It's not meant to sit on a shelf. Sorry, JT. And so, yeah, I don't mind the damage to it, at least the wear. I think it gives it a little bit of character. I did not, like I said, opt to put any of the blowers in or the turbos. I think the turbos look pretty cool. But I also know how I'm going to drive it, and it's just one more thing to break off and then look weird having one and not the other or really scrape up. But RC Voodoo, thanks, man, says, or off a loading dock onto your camera again. There you go. That could be the next big thing. Try and drop it on the computer, or not the computer, the camera. LSX Cummins says the car feels cheap. I don't know what car you held, man. This thing is a beast. It's heavy. I don't feel anything cheap about it. I mean, you get into some of maybe this fairing here, but it's unsupported pieces of Lexan, and they're replaceable. They're selling these pre-painted. You can actually get these parts pre-painted, and they're not bad. They're like $10, $15 to get a set of like black orange painted or black painted air dams for the front or the rear, coming off of the air splitter here in the back. And that's just fairing or molding that they've got. This fin's also a little bit lighter, but I mean the body itself is, I mean, that's a hard plastic, and the way that they've got some rigidity in here with the way that they molded around the windows. So I would disagree that it feels cheap. It doesn't feel like a light plastic toy. It's heavy. It's a pain to kind of pick up and carry around. There's not a great place to grab it. I carry it underneath it, or I take off the top and I carry it by the bar, which probably not recommended, but kind of the easiest way to get it around. It can be also stiffened up if you line these plastic pieces up so that it doesn't move because it's locked into the actual chassis. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're comparing it to when you say it's cheap. Maybe give us some examples of other cars that you think are cheap or that are not cheap. Because, I mean, this to me is up there with the not cheap lineup of cars as far as the feel of it. Maybe it's just the bumpers, something new, never on the RC before. Yeah, so it is a little bit, I mean, there's some movement here, but these are kind of add-ons, and they're put on there separately so they can be replaced, because you're going to hit curbs, you're going to do what I did, and you're going to hit speed bumps. And so to make this replaceable and not destroy your whole body and have to replace a whole $60, $70 body, probably upwards of that, these bodies are not cheap. They make this really inexpensive to replace. And it's kind of just sitting here with a couple screws on top of a piece of foam. So it's really just a bumper. And then you have the air splitter under it. And it's kind of the same design in the back. But the rest of this stuff's pretty rigid. hardcore Lexan body. It's not a hard body. I mean, if you're comparing it to hard bodies in the crawler world, it's completely different. Or like a Kyosho Mini Z body. Not many people do those in on-road larger scale cars. Kagan's in the house. Green Frog RC, welcome. Blue Julie says, if they didn't ruin all the good asphalt around here with, oh, effing. I was trying to figure out what word it was. Effing chip seal, I would get a road car. Now this, you can take on multiple surfaces. It will get stuck in grass. Happened to me. But you can take it on like light dirt. You can take it on pretty abusive terrain. I will say that these scoops here on the side do get a lot of the rocks and stuff. You can see them actually hitting it and kicking out the side, which is really cool versus going inside. But it really will go a lot of places. The road conditions do not have to be perfect for this. And that is why these are my favorite on-road cars, is because I've tried other on-road cars that need perfect conditions. These will tear up just about anything. They don't have to, you can go over cracks, you can have little pothole repairs, all that kind of stuff, and you're good to go. You might want to take the splitter off the front, which I didn't do, especially if you're going to be jumping. I mean, I was hitting speed bumps with it at speed, and it was just going. So what's going on, RC Glock? Does the Firma ESC have more programming options than the BLX 185? Is the BEC 6-volt only? This BEC should be 6 and 7.4 volts. Let me get the manual. I don't remember seeing the BEC programming in the main manual like I'm used to. But I was kind of quickly going through it. Oh, I just flipped it open right to the page here. So you have running mode is one. There's 8 settings. The first one is the running mode. You have forward brake. We have forward brake reverse, which is how it's set. You have the motor rotation. You have battery mode, which is only LiPo. The BEC is the 4th mode, and it comes set at 7.4 volts. The brake strength is set at 75%. That's the 5th one. 6th is reverse strength, set at 25%, which thank you for that. Punch setting is only set to level 4. So I'm going to probably kick my punch up a little bit. Try level 6 and see how we do. And then the motor timing is set at 22.5, which is almost the last level. 26.25 is the highest. And so they're really getting a lot out of this motor. So there you go. I thought it was a 7.4 volt. So there you go. Somebody probably already answered it in the comments, but for people listening in. So what do you guys think is the best use of these? Jaden says, the Felony is very cool looking. I got a good deal at my local hobby shop on an infraction, but couldn't pull the trigger. I wish I did. They're definitely for on-road. I don't race or anything like that. They're just stupid fun to just play with. And so I was trying to tell somebody here, I'm not big into on-road. I've got a few. I've got the Tamiya Fat Fox one, whatever that is, Bagheera. I've got a Traxxas Fortec. I've got, well, I mean, I take those on-road. The, what are those? The Kyosho Outlaw Rampage. I've got the semi-truck. And then I've got the drag cars downstairs. And then I have the little Kyoshos. The Charger and the Chevelle. So the Charger and the Chevelle are a lot like this in that you can run it in a lot of, it doesn't have to be perfect road conditions, My Fortec gets the death wobble at high speeds, so it's kind of weird to drive. It looks awesome, but I really want to punch it because it has that race car body. But I need to get some stuff going in there to help kind of get rid of the wobble. And yeah. But this is the way to go for on-road. General Hobby. Do you see the 1/5 scale monster truck? He's talking about Bake. Which one is that? Earl saying just replace the splitter screws to longer ones. Okay, there you go. Make it hold it a little better. I kind of like it coming off because I don't want to transfer all that somewhere else when I'm clipping it like that. I hit a curb, so I don't know if you guys saw the video I did. It was kind of a street bash. I found this like little planter box that I could hit an angled curb, jump the corner, then jump off the sidewalk, and then just tear off into the parking lot. Well, one of those I didn't judge right, and I tore off the sidewalk into the parking lot and slammed straight into one of the islands in the parking lot when I hit and gunned it. And I was supposed to go around that, but I missed it and totally clipped it. And it really damaged the air splitter. And it was dragging for a little bit, and I bent it up. So I don't know when I lost it after that, but I hit it a couple times hard. Oh, General Hobbies saying Barry Musauer. Yeah, so he's the guy who drives the zombie truck. He makes the 5th scale ones, and I have one of those being built for me. We're going to do a joint live video on that when it is he's assembling most of it. He's going to do like the final assembly pieces live and show it off. I can't wait. Earl Moorhead said 7.4. That's why it feels better than the infraction. Yeah, the steering on this is awesome. It feels good. I was impressed with the motor in this. Everything just felt like it had more pep out of the box. And I've already driven one. And so when I first drove the infraction, that was my first time having anything with that kind of power. And so I was blown away by it. But now that I've had stuff with that kind of power driving this, it already felt like, well, okay, this one's coming out of the box meaning some business right here. So very impressed with this Spectrum Firma setup in here. Just need to figure out what that little delay is. But I have a feeling either AVC, maybe a little bit of the punch, could be endpoints. But usually they set those pretty well. Awesomeness, RC hobbies and reviews. I can't see how it'd go for more than 3 to 4 feet on grass without getting stuck. Did you actually try it? I haven't seen the video. I got mine stuck in the grass a couple times this past week because of where I was going. I thought I could just drive through the grass and turn it around and set up for a shot. Nope. It was, if you have really thin grass, like golf green, you'd probably be all right. Or there's some of the grass that's very low cut, you might be all right. Earl Moorhead, yeah, man, splitter still comes off, just needs a harder hit. That's right. General Hobbies has a mud bog video. That sounds awesome. I will check that out. Yeah, so Bobake is telling Daniel that I ran the infraction with these dirt tires on oval and it did well, surprisingly. They were bald tires even. The only reason it did well, though, is I was using AVC. Now, they wouldn't let you run AVC in a race there. It's forbidden. Something they don't do in racing. It's still hard to control even with the AVC on to get the drift right, to get speed. So I would say, if it were me, I would let people run AVC if they're running these bald tires. Even with traction, they're bald for oval. because otherwise it is like being on ice. But you could run a class where you're running these stock Hoon tires if you had AVC on, and it's a dream to drive it out there. But a lot of people are putting on like the Traxxas tires that people race with, dirt tires, and they're doing well. So they're hooking up. I know Brandon did it with his infraction. Dan Brando, have I ever driven an XO1? I have not driven an XO1. I would like to, but I've heard that they're pretty squirrely at speed, so it would probably terrify me if I didn't own it to drive somebody else's. I think Driftomaniac was just saying that, and maybe Kevin Talbot, somebody else I was talking to, was mentioning that. Lauren, you're getting yours tomorrow. Awesome. OCDRC, how's my backyard coming along? Well, we just removed a nest of hornets. Whatever the ones that make the big nests are. They weren't wasps. I think they're hornets. A hornet nest like this that was in the backyard. And then we haven't gotten to the track area because I'm not really supposed to be back there yet with tractors still. Because of the amount of rain we've had, it just hasn't been able to dry out enough. So I haven't done anything back there. Daniel McMaster, what tires for Dirt Oval did he use? It's the same ones a lot of people use on their buggies, like the 8-scale Traxxas buggy type tire. Little knobs on them. They're white. I think they're Traxxas. General Hobbies, Deontay Heeb. Have to ask Tony how much. It's a custom thing. General Hobbies says like 5K. I don't think it's that high. I've been buying the parts as we've been going. Typically, that's not how you do it. But some of the parts were hard to find. So it was hard to find the monster truck tires, the MTXL tires. It's hard to find the right shocks now because they were running HPI Baja shocks and you can't get those. You can get like the Roven or the King Motor version of the Baja shocks, but they're not quite the HPI ones. And the parts are very specific to it. You have to buy. He just modified the servo now. It used to run 2 10th-scale servos, and he's modified on this one to take one of the new short Spectrum 5th-scale servos to do the steering. So we'll see how that does. And he says it's pretty awesome. But I think it's just under 4 is about where it's at with the body, custom bodies and all that. So you get a, it starts out as a Red Cat Rampage body. He wraps it, paints it, does all that stuff for it too. So it's not cheap. Not at all. How's it going, Sean's RC Adventures? Lauren Cronish says, going to have to put down some blacktop in the backyard. There you go. Drag strip. The tank says they're going to do any modification to the Felony or keep it stock. I think that I'm not trying to break speed records, so I'm happy with the motor combo in here. I might add some more fans because it's still hot. So I might try and put another set of fans here just to either blow in or suck out hot air, get it out of the car. So we'll see what we can do there. I will change the gearing for the run video. Wow, you can actually see where this drive shaft has rubbed on this bearing. It's doing its job. That's cool. Just getting a look at it. But I'll probably change the servo eventually. I might. I don't know. I'm torn because I kind of want to street bash with it. So if I get the, you know, I don't know if going fast becomes 60 to 70 becomes slow over time, I might step it up, but we'll see. I don't feel like it needs much changing out of the box. It handles so well. Although I am putting the drag brake in here. I have that on order. So that is a modification. Yeah, it would be cool if these had that scrape effect paint. So I would maybe like to find out about some kind of, it'd be nice to get some kind of a chassis sticker or something for this. That would be ideal because it is pretty chewed up already. But I can always just paint it back black again if I want. RC Glock, yeah, handbrake. I don't know what I said. The handbrake module is what I have pre-ordered to install in here. Other than that, I'll run the stock tires. I like them. I really love how this thing handles. It drifts awesome, and it's just a total blast to drive. So I may, if anything, be trying to look at ways I can maybe make some jumps to take with me that are kind of low just to kind of get it off the ground. And I will probably also look at putting in some titanium screws to get that spark effect as it's scraping across the ground. So those are a couple things that I'll probably look to do. Oh, Earl Moorhead just said it. Tony, add the screw for sparks. It'll protect it a little and looks cool. That's exactly what I was saying. If I find that this system, when I'm street bashing, gets too hot under the load, I may put a bigger one in, not necessarily for the speed of it, just so that it won't get overworked. So that would be where I would upgrade, and I would put this into something else because this is a crazy, crazy good system in here. But I like the smart system too, where I can check the temperatures of it. So I'm going to be moving over to my rugged controller with this. So that I can monitor some of that information about the motor and the ESC as well. Can you run a Spectrum and a Venom 3S battery? I wouldn't. I would only run matched pairs. I said drag brake. I meant handbrake. Thank you, RC Glock. I may also see if anybody makes like M2C, if they make some metal stiffeners here, I'd probably add those in and do a few upgrades like that internally. Not that they're necessary, but just because it had that bling factor. Filthy Kill, that's a good one. I hope they make a 3S Street Basher on a Senton chassis and call it the Misdemeanor. I like it. Pilot Ryan Media says the scratches are street cred. They are. You know what would be really cool on the bottom of this is like a graffiti. You know how they've been adding like the writing on there? If they'd have just done like a cool like street graffiti on the bottom, that's what kind of sticker something would be cool on here. But the stickers would just get destroyed. I might just have to get somebody to graffiti it with a paint marker. Then the scrape offs would look super cool. I might see about, I know if I don't go for speed, I may try and lift mine a little more off the ground, just get that little bit, couple more millimeters of clearance. Just set the preload a little more. Just the littlest bit. Give me a little bit more clearance. Yeah, definitely. Lots of people saying they'd buy a 110 Street ARRMA in a heartbeat. There you go. Well, maybe we'll see something. Daniel McMaster, will a 40 millimeter fan fit on the motor heatsink? Maybe. That was one thing that I was reading about, is that this is a 35 millimeter. Actually, it was A-Main that pointed it out in their video. So it's kind of an off size in that this is a 35 millimeter fan. And it's not really marked in a way that you'd be able to put. I'm sure that somebody out there with a 3D printer named Daniel could mock up a mount that would support a larger fan, but the plate would, there'd be an initial plate that screws into this ARRMA heatsink and then has a bigger plate that the fan would actually screw itself into. But I don't know, I'm just speculating. It seems like something that could be done. Steve in the house, RC tanks the truck 24/7. Yeah, man, it's rough. I wish you guys could get them earlier. Saying that they're probably not going to see him for like 3 months in Australia. That's a total bummer, man. You need to like get cranking on an RC company there where things start out in Australia and we want it everywhere else, and we're the ones that have to wait 3 months. You guys got resources there. Aussie RC Playground as well. Australians are waking up. Hydro dip the chassis, Monster Jam freaks. I wouldn't want to tear it down to the chassis, although I just did that to my Typhon, and it was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because there's really only a few screws to take off the whole back end, swap it over. The hardest part was getting the little standoffs around the whole steering module. I don't know what they call that part, but that whole front assembly that sits off the front diff with all the steering components under it, that part was the hardest part for me to get off. And we thought it was because of red Loctite, but I think it was just because I didn't have something that could hold the post tight enough that it wouldn't spin freely. But I definitely like this thing. I'm not sure that I like it more than an infraction, though. There's something still to me about that truck look. As cool as this looks, you know, I kind of was missing, like, seeing the truck do some of the stuff I was doing. And it has the handbrake in it. For what I'm doing, like this extra front bumper fairings and different things here that are just like kind of a little bit flimsier. I don't know if you guys see that well. It's playing. But that with the splitter under it and the back piece here, I don't know. If I'm street bashing, if this is going to become problematic for me, getting ripped up and ripped off. At least it is separate, and at least those are cheap parts that you can get. It looks like you can get them pre-painted even to just stick in here based on SKUs. There's no pictures, but based on the title, that's what it sounds like they're going to have available. So that'll be good. It does look good. And if I do decide not to... I could take that off now and see. I'm still not sold on the fin if I'm just going to street bash if I need that or not. or if I should save it so I don't actually break it when I'm street bashing. Because these are preserving a lot of this top. These little ridges on the top are helping preserve some of the lid. Looking through the comments here. Trash Can Ninja, when is ARRMA releasing a hoodie? You know, I think if you go to their YouTube page, I think they have a Teespring set up now, Horizon or ARRMA or somebody. But I saw something pop up under one of their videos, and I think that they had hoodies available. So you might look there. They might have had like phone cases and all that stuff you could get that were branded. Okay, I like where Cody's head is at. Cody Vandenberg says, T-Bone. T-Bone, if you watch these, I don't think you do. T-Bone needs to make, and if any of you guys know the people at T-Bone, he's saying that they need to make a specific front end splitter for this. That'd be a little more durable, kind of replace this. That'd be pretty cool if this is all actually molded a little bit stiffer. That'd be cool. I like where your head's at. A bash-friendly front splitter is what he called it. Game Changer RC, what's up? We were just talking about your fans earlier. We've talked about it twice, actually, as being a potential modification we do with this one. Trying to see here, the 8th UGG. Filthy Kill at RC New Hampshire. They need to ship our rigs ASAP. Did you guys order some and you're waiting on them? Oh, BRCC V3. He's been waiting for a month. Yep. I ordered the Big Rock the day it came out. So, but it's from the get-go has been leaning towards a September release. The Mega stuff was going to release first. Speaking of, I need to get in there. Do any of you guys know, while we're here, I need to switch I want to switch the Typhon pinion of the Mega to 32 pitch in metal. And I don't know that there's a direct, easy swap in for the existing servo, or no, the existing slipper assembly that allows it to be 32 pitch. Have you guys seen one of those for the 4x4 Mega? I know Hot Racing has some stuff. The next shipment for the Horizon said for the Infraction version 2 is September 10th. Okay. I love Jesus 973 says, why does ARRMA take long to ship these vehicles? Well, because they get them in boatloads, and on those containers come a bunch of different products that people want, from parts to cars to different things. And as they're making them and they're filling up a container, they'll offload that and get it to the warehouse, and they'll ship them out. They don't want to wait until they have everybody's, because the list is going to keep growing. And so if they keep trying to just give them to everybody at the same time, it'd never get released. So they have to do it in shipments, is my guess. They have their first, they do the pre-order, and as you pre-order, they allot some already for hobby shops that are doing pre-orders as well. And then to the customers that are buying direct and as pre-order. And then, at some point, there's only so many cars that come in a shipment. If the number goes beyond that, they got to wait till the next shipment comes in, which means they got to wait till the next container gets filled with things being made. You don't ship empty containers. So I'm sure that they're working their tails off. Not only got to make the parts, but people have to assemble these things. And I don't know if you've ever built an RC car, but it is not the fastest thing in the world to just put together and stick in a box with the directions and all the tools and say, here, ready to go in an hour. It takes a while to build. Pilot Ryan Media says, Felony outsold 12-month projections. Get one if you can, where you can. I Love Jesus 973 says, I pre-ordered it 3 weeks ago. Hopefully it's coming soon, man. I just saw that the hobby shops just started getting the V3. Mine just came in on Sunday is when this arrived. And other people were already getting before then. So, partly it depends where you live. Other countries, it's even longer. They have even more of a delay. And so, it's a sucky thing. You can't, it's hard to do a release, that's for sure. Daniel McMaster, how do I know how many they've sold? Horse's mouth, Pilot Ryan Media says. Yeah, he talks with, he's getting into, Pilot Ryan's getting into a lot of the on-road as well, but he's really been into the planes for a while, and he's in with the guys at Spectrum through the planes and Horizon and all the different things there. So he's got connections. I don't know if that's the horse's mouth he heard from or his hobby shop who may have talked to a distributor or whatever. There's lots of people. And so if you're talking to a hobby shop too, and you're trying to get an order, and then you're like, where is it? Then the distributor may say, or the person who has your shop, I guess, order that you order through, it's probably going to tell you, hey, we're trying to get them out, but guess what? They've been ordered more than we had projected for the next 12 months. It's going to take a minute for us to get them in. So it could be just kind of offhand like that. So information like that gets out. I don't think they're trying to hide it either. I'd heard that the Haas had sold 3,000 units when they were original. First incoming was like 1,000, which seems like low numbers to me. I would think with Traxxas it would be way above that. And I don't know if that's for certain areas that projection of 1,000 to 3,000, because those numbers don't make sense for a new release from Traxxas to me. But I may also think there's a whole lot more of us out there trying to buy these right away too. In my mind, this is the thing, like everybody's wanting this car right here, but it's not necessarily the case. We are a group of people, so how many do you actually sell is the question. But I'm guessing that there's quite a few of these things being sold. But I can't speak to those things because I honestly do not know. I just like to play with them. They're a lot of enjoyment, especially in these times when there's a lot of stress. There's a lot going on in our world. You try not to turn on the news. I'd rather pick one of these up than watch the news these days. Go out and run these, watch a YouTube Live. I can't tell you, I've really started watching a ton of YouTube Live. From RC. I watch RC Guy Garage. I jump on with Pilot Ryan when he's on Saturday nights. You got Monday nights with 11 Charlie. Wednesday nights you've got Scale Builders Guild and Harley Designs. Then you have Thursday night with the Tank. Then you have Friday is another one that Harley does with a build series with his wife. So I just watch a ton of live. When I'm consuming YouTube, that's a lot of what I'm doing. And I'm engaging with people in the chats like you guys are doing right now. And a lot of my stuff isn't even directed at the people that are on the show. It's more communicating with the people in the chat, and one-liners and zingers and stuff. So if you ordered an A main, I think you should be all right. They've got to get a huge amount. The Tank says, that's me. He's listening a little bit. Cody Vandenberg says, so many choices now, it's hard to keep up with what I want. Matthew, tell us about the new Losi monster truck. So what I know so far about the Losi monster truck is that Losi has pretty much said that they're going to have one this year. When that's going to be is still up in the air. I know that Greg Sopo jumped in last week, I believe, to say that the end of the quarter is going to be insane for new releases from Horizon for the Surface. So that has my hopes up that it's coming. It should be before Christmas. So yeah, I mean, I don't know any details about any specs or anything like that. Is it going to be 2.2? Is it going to be 2.6 inch wheels? Is it going to have centered pumpkins, or is it going to have the offset like the Axial and other trucks have? Is it going to have a single speed transmission? How is the transmission going to work? Is it going to have a cage? Is it not going to have a cage? If it's low C, it's going to be kind of race based. Usually, I would think. I mean, it's their performance. So I would think that it would have a race feature about it. So does that mean it's not going to have a full cage and it's going to be more like some of the race trucks that we see throughout? I know that there's a lot of people, Greg himself included, who are huge monster truck enthusiasts, and that's both in the RC world and not. And so they have a lot of chassis that are aftermarket. They know what's popular in the RC monster truck arena right now and what people are doing in modding. So I have high hopes that Losi is going to bring something awesome to the table this year. I don't know what that means for Axial. I don't know any of that stuff. I mean, I'm not in on all of those decisions at all that they make. I'm just a YouTuber dude that's just like everybody else in the world that plays with RC cars and has a family and a job and all of that. Just do this for fun. So it should be solid axle. I never drove a 3XLE, and I haven't heard any more. I thought you were talking about the solid axle that they've been hinting at. I'm more curious to see what is also happening with the new 4S lineup from ARRMA and why that's kind of taking so long to get re-released. It's going to be next year, is what it sounded like from Jason. So, and again, I just track the news like you guys do, try and keep up. And I've missed a lot recently because of how busy I've been. And so even in these chats, you guys, I didn't even know about the laser nut till you guys told me in the middle of one of these live streams that there was a laser nut. We went and Googled it. Any information on the Big Rock? No, I'm guessing it ships in September with all the other 3S lineup. Big Squid would be the people to ask about the Big Rock. They have one of them. So with that 3S lineup, it seems like, there's only so many cars that they send out to get reviewed or to be in whatever it is. So it looks like, JT got the Granite 3S, and it looked like Big Squid got the early release of the Big Rock, and I actually haven't watched or read the article on that yet. But I need to because I'm super excited about mine. But I've got this coming. I knew I had this coming. I had to read up on, try and figure out as much as I could about it. I have something else coming that I can't tell you guys about for probably 2 weeks now. That's exciting to me, different than I think anything we've seen yet. And so I'm excited to see what you guys think about it, because I think it's kind of cool. And yeah, so I can't talk about that for a couple of weeks. And there's a couple other things that I've got coming up that I'm trying to prepare for work and things. But so I've been busy and I haven't been able to keep up on that. And I have other things I'm trying to plan, and I'm shooting that you guys may or may not know about. That's keeping me busy, even though you're not seeing the content yet. All right, comments. Sean RC, I was going to list everyone, but it filled Tony's page. Go for it. Fill the page. Steve OD. Yep, he's on Friday night as well. Sean's RC Adventures. He's been doing live streams. Sean, I don't know when your day is that you do it. And Basher Boy's been doing Saturdays as well. I didn't get everybody. It wasn't supposed to be a full, complete list. I'm sorry, guys. There's a ton of people that are doing live streams. I try and jump in on them whenever I see them going. Sometimes I'm just a lurker that's just listening. But I actually choose live streams. Like, I'll get on and I'll get off of YouTube if I don't see a live stream going on to watch. That's kind of the content I'm really enjoying on YouTube these days. So sorry if I didn't get everybody's live streams. There's a lot of them, but I know Basher Boys has been doing Saturdays. Does somebody have a Sunday slot? I don't know when it's Sean RC's. I know he's been doing some live streams and even some private ones. Cody says Losi will have the 1/10 road car soon. So he's saying Losi will. And if they do, I wonder if it'll be a drag car, a no prep. Daniel McMaster, would I prefer center diff in a 4S truck over a slipper clutch? All day of the week I would. I don't mind the slipper. I just lock it. And like in my Creighton 4S over here, I just kind of lock it up. But I would love the center diff when I can. Laurel Peterson, which one do you like more, the infraction or the felony? I would have to drive the two of them side by side. In fact, I want to go back to the school where I was at and run two of these in a video that I just did. Like have them jump in the curbs side by side, or like one after the other, and kind of street bashing together. Not racing, just like a dual street bash at the same time looking epic. So I'm going to see if I can make that happen. But it means I'll have to get an infraction and some driving help. I think I know a few people that can do it. Pot Ryan says he did the Granite Mega. RC Driver did the 3S Granite. Okay. I got a Typhon Mega that I've been trying to upgrade. I've been trying to do it on the cheap. I'm not sure what to do with this slipper clutch. I want to find a way to keep that so I can do it the cheapest way possible for people that do want to upgrade. I would totally recommend people, just if you want to go brushless, if they're old enough to handle it in a few months or a few weeks, just get the brushless and turn it down. If not, if you need just a quick Christmas present that's all in the box for $220, you want batteries, all of that, because you're looking at $320 for the other lineup, and then batteries, whatever. You're looking more in the $400 range versus $220. So it's almost double the price to just get them started in the hobby. So it's a good way to start people. I'm just trying to find a way to make it not like a wasted investment. We're like, well, now we got to spend the $400. Like, no, just for $150, you can get it going good. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here with this lineup. Not for myself, but for people that have gotten it for a kid. And I'm just trying to be helpful and find ways to do it. So if you guys know a way, shoot me a message about the Typhon spur gear and the slipper assembly. Earl, Traxxas need to redo the Exo-1 ARRMA, knocking that RTR 100 mile per hour range. These things are coming so stinking close. If they would put in just a little bit bigger pinion in here out of the box for these, they could be breaking that 100 mile out of the box record with these. So close. Sean's RC will drive them both for us. That's right. Yeah, Josh does. So Harley does another live on Sunday doing the CAD stuff. General Hobbies does doing live streams gets your time duration up. It does, but I don't know that YouTube reads it the same way. Like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I decided that the video that I made on this car at 6 minutes was enough for me. Like, I didn't need to drag it out to make it a long video. The speed run that I'm going to do with this, the first speed run, is going to be 5 minutes or less. I did a couple passes. I'm going to get you guys the information and be done with it. I'm not going to drag it out for the sake of dragging out. Other than I'll get you your information, and I did do a little bashing with it, so I might add that at the end just for fun. But I'm not going to try and make it a 10-minute video when it doesn't need to be. So it may hurt me. Like, I may not get the push from YouTube. I don't know. But there comes a point, too, where it's just like, it felt good at about 6 minutes. So it felt even like it was getting a little long because I was trying to fill out the rest of the song with some of the stuff. And, you know, some of it felt a little repetitious. So, yeah, I could have done it shorter even. But duration does matter to a degree. But I mean, I get enough views and enough watch time that it doesn't matter for monetization anymore for me to be monetized and have that certain goal that you have to achieve to open you up for it. General Hobbies, next time you go to NC, you'll drive for me. Cool. Yeah, my boys are getting older, and hopefully they'll get to the point where they can drive these for me, and I can just film it and let them have a blast, and I'll be their little film guy and make epic videos where it's just they're doing cool stunts and I'm just capturing it cinematically like I have to do for work. So I have to limit it because I'm limited to a tripod, and like you saw, I was just trying to make the shot go through it. I can't, unless I have somebody driving, I can't do all the angles and stuff I would normally do. But I try, like with the low C tenacity video, the laser nut, but still it's a camera on a tripod. I'd rather get it moving and following the cars. Questions coming in. We see felonies on Thursday in Canada. That's awesome. Filthico Kaiser says he has a new one. I'll do a video. First run the box. I'll give it a go for 100. Oh, snap. It could literally snap. That would be nuts. Aussie RC Playground. Hey, Tony, what do you think is holding ARRMA back from releasing 100 mile per hour to 120 mile per hour RTR? They're so close. Probably because Traxxas would sue them for saying that they have an over 100 mile an hour truck or car, just like they do. I know that's a joke. I don't know why there is not a Limitless ready to run that does 125 miles an hour out of the box. Already geared up. Sell it, price it at what it's worth, make it $1,000 car, just like you would an X-Max, $900. Price it up, put the big motor in it. Put the fans in it. Already set it up with the thing. There may be liability. I don't know, because anybody can buy it. And they could potentially hurt somebody, and they're afraid of that. You know, take off a leg doing a speed run. I don't know. There's some less liability, I guess, if you sell the Limitless and the people are then responsible. They know if they're building out a car that can go that fast, then hopefully they're responsible enough to know how to drive it. So maybe that's it, boss. I'm not sure. I'm kind of speculating. Kaiser, there's 3 in stock near you. There should be 2 in stock. The EXO one, here's my cat. Hello. The EXO one, you need to be 18 years old to unlock it. It's a really big liability, is what Earl said. I don't know if that's through their software. I don't know anything about the EXO one, but I'm guessing that there's huge liability. So many people run them on the road. Are they going to cause accidents? Because where do you run a car that goes that fast? Most people don't do it in the most appropriate places. And RC speed runs probably usually is a crime, technically. But maybe we'll make sure to say that street bashing is not a crime, and then have one that says RC speed runs is a crime. I don't know, but we risk it anyway. So I don't know. That's my guess. Aussies, I don't know, because it's a toy. I'm guessing there's different liabilities. Because it's there, you don't have to have a driver's license and get tested to drive an RC car. Technically, to buy one of those sports cars and drive it on a road, you have to have proven and be of a certain age to do so. And you don't have to necessarily for an RC car. Driftomaniacs, that's exactly what I said. What do you mean, no, no, no? It's because of legal issues. That's what I said. If you hit somebody with a car going that fast, that's repeated what I said. Okay. Yeah, it's a liability. Legal issues, whatever you want to call it, it's a liability to sell a car that can go that fast out of the box and not have a way to assure that the people driving it have been tested and are qualified to drive a car that goes that fast. Then you're getting sued by more people than RC companies. General Hobbies, man, I've seen people around here hitting themselves with them. I took out my camera with mine, not even going fast. Didn't somebody just hit themselves with it doing a speed test? I made my son get up on curbs. Unless I was up on curbs, then he had to be somewhere else. I just would carry a step stool, like those little fold-out ladders that have 2 steps. I'd get up on something like that. So if it comes tearing down and it hits that, it might knock it out, knock me down. I don't want it directly hit me in the leg. Catch up with the comments faster. It's 11:20. I'd already read it and gotten off that. It's only 11:23 now. I'm pretty sure it was earlier on when I'd mentioned it, but it's all good. We're saying the same thing. We're thinking the same thing. Yeah, Philip Jolly, man. Whew. Yeah, I can't believe how close some of the people get to the road when they're driving past it. I watch Innovation RC when he comes tearing by that. He's like stepping out toward it to get the shot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified watching the video. But, you know, a lot of them know how those cars are going to react, but you still just never know if you're going to hit something or a tire's going to blow out. And it's going to change the trajectory toward you. But I guess it could even get airborne. So even being up on something doesn't necessarily mean you're safe. The fastest I've gone is 83 miles an hour, and that was with the infraction. And I felt like I was terrified when it went by. In a real car? It was fast. That's all I'll say. See ya, Tank. It's heading out. I'm going to actually wrap up here. And go. Driftomaniac. Yeah, comments delayed. No worries. Yeah, man, we're on the same page with that. I think that that's probably the biggest reason, and I think that that's why the Limitless comes as a roller, because the whole purpose of it is to go crazy fast, and I don't think that it would sell well if it wasn't going over 100 miles an hour, because everybody would want to rip out the electronics. They wouldn't want to pay for them, so they were smart to make the Limitless a roller. And then the people that wanted to push it and do the high speed, it kind of removes some of that liability from ARRMA, because the people chose to put that big of a motor and everything into it. So, yeah, I think that that's it. But it would be awesome, because I don't know enough about all the cap packs and all the ripple killers and all that junk and soldering all those in line, and that's where I get out of the game. Like, now that I've got that awesome parking lot, I'd love to rip one really fast there. But, you know, I don't know that I know enough about the tech and the know-how. I mean, Earl Moorhead, he does. I guess I'd have to just go back and directly look at everything he's doing and copy it to mine to get a fast car. So, or find somebody locally to build one. But that's sketch too, because you don't know exactly... You don't know the in and out of it, and I've come to realize that that's important, and that's a very important part of building your own, is kind of knowing what could be a fail point or not, and that that. I mean, that's the other thing is ARRMA builds that car that goes 120 miles an hour, and they don't put the wheel nuts on tight enough, and it comes off and it gets destroyed. You know, can you imagine the customer service nightmare of that? They've already got to deal with us whining about, you know, wheel nuts coming off or A-arms breaking when we didn't hit a curb. We were just driving completely smooth and never jumped it. So, yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, we'll see you all. I think that this thing is hands down one of the coolest RC cars to just wrap up I've ever seen, looked at, whatever I say. It's a beautifully crafted vehicle. The lines are really good on it. The paint scheme with the flake and it's like that burnt orange is like very period perfect for this type of non-Camaro car. That's probably like late 60s ish. But yeah, I think they killed it. I think the handling of it's off the chain, what it can do out of the box. 61 with their street bash gear on it is what I got. RC guy got 63. Miles per hour will vary, but it goes over 60. Drifto Maniacs got 59, I think he said. So we're all right up in there in that 60 mile an hour out of the box with a 16 tooth. Put that 27 tooth on there, you'd be hitting that 85 and up. Insane. So yeah, I'm super stoked about driving more with it. We'll see how the tires do. I didn't notice the gearing. They've geared it well so that it actually handles really well with the different size tires. I need to try different surfaces to see if I can get it to donut a little better and stay in a tight circle. It kept on wanting to move because I think partly the ground was really grippy with like the rocks and all that embedded into the asphalt. But I mean, if you can get your hands on one, if you can drive one, I would never recommend somebody to get it if they don't have the money to get it. That doesn't make sense. But if you're looking for something on road, you've got the money to spend, you've been wondering what to get, man, these things are killer. And that handbrake, I can't wait to try that. Not the drag brake, which I said earlier, the handbrake. I think that's going to be a really cool feature for these as well. I don't know what the long-term ramifications of just jamming on brakes like that will be to the whole drivetrain. But I mean, sometimes you got to wear stuff out if you want to have, I mean, it's not good for a real car to do some of the stuff we do to them either. So that wear and tear is part of the game if you want to do certain things. And, you know, the fact that they're giving us the option is pretty cool. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, I got to go over there some way to turn this off, but thanks again for chatting with us, coming in here, helping give thoughts and opinions, clarification, all of that kind of stuff that you guys help do. And so I very much appreciate it. And that's going to wrap up this RC Conspiracies. See you guys.